We all know that good graphics doesn't necessarily mean a good game, but when it comes to MMORPGs, it certainly helps you get immersed in the game's world. MMOs are also the most demanding games for your PC to run, so this video is dedicated to you graphic whores with your $3,000 PCs, and those of you that can't play above the lowest settings without causing a crash. Bear in mind I only mention MMOs in this video that are either fully released or within 6 months of a full release / open beta. At number 10 we have Guild Wars 2. Now this is a game that began its development in 2007 with a release date in 2012. Journeying from the game's starter zones though, you can really start to see the game's age, and you may be surprised why it's on this list. But for me, the reason I put it at number 10 is the visual upgrade of the zones you see in Guild Wars 2's recent expansion, Path of Fire. For me, the visuals look especially good in the desert areas with the sand effects and lighting from the sun. 1 year from now though, I'd expect this game to not make this list. Regardless, if you've never played Guild Wars 2 before, I recommend it as one of the best casual MMOs if you haven't got a lot of time, as there's not really a gear treadmill and the barrier to entry for most content is very low. Number 9, Elder Scrolls Online. Similar to Guild Wars 2, Elder Scrolls Online started development in 2007 and after 7 years of development was released in 2014. I think the starting areas of ESO actually look better visually than the starting areas of Guild Wars 2, and as you'd expect, the newer zones generally have the most highly detailed textures with better lighting and effects than the older stuff. If you haven't paid attention to this game since the launch, it's actually in a really good place right now with a good player population and a wealth of content to sink your teeth into. I highly recommend it. At number 8 we have Arcade Unchained, the 2019 buy-to-play, non-pay-to-win version of Arcade, which initially started development in 2006 with a 2013 release date. With the launch of Arcade Unchained came a bunch of graphical improvements that really kept the game looking quite visually pleasing, and if this was a list for the most beautiful looking ocean content, this game would undoubtedly be number 1. As for the game itself, it's a lot of fun, but the biggest issue it has in my opinion is a lack of structured content that brings guilds together for a few nights every week, which leaves you with a feeling as though there's not really much reason to gear up. On top of that, there's far too many daily quests, so it's a mixed bag really. Ascent Infinite Realm is the newest upcoming MMORPG from Bluehole that should be releasing in a few months in Asia, with a Western release coming later. There's no info on the internet of an exact time this game went into development, but I spoke to an ex-Bluehole dev and they told me it's been in the works since around 2012 or 2013. This game uses Unreal Engine 3, and whilst this is quite an outdated engine at this point, and it really shows in some places, the game as a whole looks really beautiful and certainly pushes the boundaries of Unreal 3 really far. The game itself was a reasonable amount of fun the last time I played it. It's not the next big thing or anything, but a game that tries to appeal to everyone and immerse you into a steampunk world with visually impressive flying rocks and clouds. For an isometric MMORPG, Lost Ark has had an astronomically long development cycle, initially starting in 2011 with a Korean release at the start of 2019. Despite this, and the game being made in Unreal Engine 3, this is the most beautiful top-down game I've ever played, and I don't think it's possible to push the boundaries of Unreal 3 further than what this game has. On top of all that, Lost Ark is optimized wonderfully well, and due to its $90 million budget, screams high production value everywhere you look. If you're sick of waiting for a Western release, I have a full guide for how to play this game in English on the Russian servers linked in the description below of this video. It's been 4 years since I first covered Moonlight Blade in a first impressions video, and this bloody game still hasn't had a Western release date announced, despite Nexon getting the rights to publish the game in the West. At the time of me first playing it, my mind was blown by the graphics of this game, especially by the weather effects of the rain, lightning, and sandstorms. Fast forward 4 years and the game still looks really damn good, especially shining in the moments where your character's flying through the air looking down at massive open environments. I think I'll revisit this game soon, as it looks a lot better now than when I first tried it. New World is a brand new open world sandbox MMORPG from Amazon Game Studios that will be releasing in May 2020. As you'd expect, this is a game with a big budget behind it that uses Amazon's custom Lumberyard engine, and as you can see from the footage on screen, is exactly what you'd expect visually from a modern MMO. I've had the chance to play this game myself, and whilst the game wasn't fully developed in terms of visuals at the time, I remember looking at some areas of the world and just saying to myself, wow, that looks gorgeous. Maybe it'll end up higher on this list once it's fully released. Swords of Legends Online is a Chinese MMO that released at the end of 2018. This game was made in Unreal Engine 4 and features an instanced world, action combat, heavily story-driven linear leveling experience, and a subscription fee past a certain level. Visually, this game is full of vibrant colours, lots of environmental details packed into zones, and an ever so slightly stylized look about it. I played this game last year, and to be honest, most of my fun just came from running around looking at the graphics. As for if this game will ever come to the West, I highly fucking doubt it. Obviously, we can't talk about great MMORPG graphics without mentioning Black Desert Online Remastered, and if anything, I bet a lot of you are wondering why I've not put this game at number 1, which I'll get to in a bit. BDO initially went into development in 2010, and after 5 years of development had its Korean release in 2015. 3 years later, the game had a graphical remaster which basically improved the lighting and made everything look really shiny. I've had a very love-hate relationship with BDO over the years, and I haven't played the game seriously for almost 2 years now, but something I always loved about the game was just how fucking beautiful it is up close. Like seriously, some of the screenshots people make for this game look like art pieces. The reason BDO is at number 2 and not number 1 is that despite how fucking gorgeous it is up close, the game still has really bad pop-in at a short distance when running through the world on your mount, and when you look into the distance, the visuals really fall off a lot and sometimes look kinda ugly. Regardless, I'd imagine BDO will be towards the top of this list for many years to come, and it'd obviously be number 1 if it wasn't for the pop-in or low graphics at a distance. At number 1, I'm gonna have to go with Justice Online. I played this game very recently and the game just looks absolutely stunning. Theme-wise, it's a very similar game to Swords of Legends Online, except the environments are larger and it has a more realistic look to it. Justice Online is an MMO that's using the latest advancements in graphical technology and was even featured at an Nvidia RTX showcase earlier this year. The water reflections, the weather effects, colours and sheer amount of details in the environment of this game are crazy impressive for an MMO. I put this game ahead of BDO simply because the visuals don't fall off so much in the distance and visually it felt more consistent to play. There's a few MMOs I actually left out of this video because I didn't know where to put them. I think Final Fantasy XIV with Reshade installed falls just outside of this list, probably at number 11. I think EVE Online deserves a place on this list somewhere, and it's super impressive how such an old game has really done an amazing job updating its graphics over the years. Honestly, I struggled to place it on this list due to it being a sci-fi game with a lot of vehicle driving, and all the other MMOs on this list being more boots on the ground. Maybe you can let me know where this should be on the list in the comments below. I didn't put Blade & Soul's Unreal Engine 4 update on this list because as of making this video it's not playable and I don't know how it looks in-game yet. It will probably make the list next year though. After that you've got all the upcoming MMOs in development that when released or closer to release will easily get on this list and push a lot of the older MMOs out. You've got Ashes of Creation, Chronicles of Illyria, Star Citizen, Crimson Desert, Magic Legends, Diablo 4, Path of Exile 2, Lineage Project TL, Age of Wushu 2, Project Z, and many, many more. 1 or 2 years from now, I expect this list should look completely different. But that's it for this video, guys. I hope you can understand that this list was somewhat subjective, and I hope there's not too much outrage in the comments. If you're an MMO gamer or just someone that plays online games from another region and struggle with bad ping, something that's helped me a lot as someone that lives in Thailand is using a ping booster called Exit Lag. This software basically optimizes the route your connection takes to get to the game's server, resulting in better ping. It also acts as a VPN for games that are region locked. You can try it for 3 days for free, no credit card info required, so there's nothing to lose in giving it a try and seeing if it improves your connection. Link in the description below and code TheLazyPeon at the checkout for 20% off. Thanks for watching, I hope you all have a great day and I'll see you again really soon.